What's up, YouTube? It's Chris C. Manga here. I'm going to read this chapter of Naruto, and it was a really good chapter, that last week's chapter, but I don't really have much to say about it. The only thing that really stood out to me was Obito's brand new transformation, which is really cool. Um, but in general, the chapter was fairly simple. I mean, not much really happened. We get the whole thing with Naruto Sasuke still. Um, Naruto Sasuke and the four were still trying to deal with Obito, and then Obito's brand new transformation kind of just made things a lot more difficult for them because now he actually has full. I think right now he has full control of Jubi's power because there's no question in it. He's back to being the douchebag he was before. I mean, he has control. He's talking now. His attacks are more focused now, so we could safely assume that Obito is back in control. But at the beginning of the chapter, they're still when he grabbed them by the heads and he's about to pierce their heads with that brand new orb attack. The fourth, for some reason, the fourth couldn't tele. I guess it was the whole fact that if the fourth teleported to them, that wouldn't really save them. You know what I mean? It must have been so he needed to get them out of the situation. So Naruto, thinking on his feet, he summoned his chakra arms. He grabbed onto Sasuke and he grabbed onto the fourth, and then through that connection, the fourth was able to jump to another location, bringing Naruto Sasuke with him. So that actually saved their life, which is cool. So that's smart thinking on Naruto's part, and the fourth actually acknowledges this as well. He's like, my son is actually keeping up with Sasuke, who's obviously a genius. So that was cool, and we see Obito getting his Orochimaru impression on, doing a good job at that, and we see his snake body burst out the ground, and something strange is happening right there. We see him mention Rin's name, and then he gets all emotional and teary-eyed, and then the part of his body that was replaced by the Jubi's cells, where the Jubi bits basically, they start to consume Obito's body, and then he fires off. It seems something like a Bijou bomb or something like that. The orbs basically, he turned into like an explosion, and then it exploded. It didn't reach Naruto, Sasuke, or the rest of the crew. Basically, it hit him. So Sasuke assumed that he's attacking himself basically. So this might be Obito in the inside. When we see hints of this later on, struggling to take control. So he's attacking himself. I mean, that whole part isn't really clear to me. So if you guys actually understood what was going on right there, feel free to leave a comment. But we go to see basically go to Obito's inner world right now. We see him like restrained by what I'm assuming is Jubi's arms or Jubi bits or what. Something from the Jubi's holding him back basically. So I'm guessing this is stopping him from having full control of his own body. And then they start to rip him apart. I mean, piece by piece, arms, torso, everything. And then I think him being ripped apart signifies him losing control of himself, him losing who he is. And then he starts, and basically the whole part of him being ripped apart, we see the picture, the photograph of him, Kakashi Rin, and the fourth being torn as well. So that's kind of relating to what's happening to him physically. And then just before the part where Rin is about to be ripped apart, I think he regains his resolve, and then he just pulls himself back together, and then doing that, he gains control of the Jubi's power, and then we see that reflected in his new form, which is really cool looking. The only thing that kind of puts me off about this form is the fact that he has a cape now. And I'm pretty sure that cape is made from skin. So you can see where I'm coming from. That's just skin, which is really gross and weird. But anyway, he looks cool nonetheless. He has these two horns, one long, one short. He has the Sage of Six Paths staff now, which I'm pretty sure is the orb thing just, transform into the shape of an orb. Sorry, into the shape of a staff basically. And yeah, other than that, physically he hasn't changed much. You see in his face that he has a lot more control now, and he looks cool. I mean, obviously what I said before, the cape thing throws me up, but it adds to the character. It makes him look more badass. And then he actually showcases some of his power now. So the four Hokages, he has his attack he's been trying to do for the last two chapters. He still hasn't pulled it off yet. He tries to do it by the end of this chapter, but Obito stops him and basically just rips off his arm. But it would have done more damage if the fourth Hokage didn't jump out of the way. So he jumped out of the way, jumped back to Naruto Sasuke, and then he's like, I managed to save myself from obviously being obliterated. And Obito said, are you sure about that? Obito actually planted one of the orbs onto him, so he brought that back to Naruto and Sasuke, and Obito is basically about to make that orb explode. So he's about to kill three birds with one stone. That easy. So it was a really cool chapter. I mean, that move at the end that Obito pulled off. You know what I mean? If that doesn't showcase that he's in control, I don't know what else will. He's back to being. So he actually might unleash the Moon's Eye plan soon. I mean, that would be the smart thing to do. He has the power to do it. I'm pretty sure he knows the Genjutsu to do it. So why not just get out of the way and just start worrying about these guys? Because if the Moon's Eye plan is to take control of every human being on the planet, then let's do it. That would. I mean, that will win the war instantly. You won't have to worry about fighting these guys anymore because they'll be under your control. But obviously, that won't really happen. We need a bit more fighting to happen before that. Before that, that goes down. So how are the fourth Sasuke and Naruto going to deal with him now that he has control of Jimmy's power? I mean, it made sense before when he was kind of like a berserker where he's not really thinking straight. But now that he's in control of this massive amount of power, how are they going to deal with it? So I'm interested to see how they, team up, they work together, how they strategize, and how they're going to get out of a situation where they have a bomb right in front of them. I mean, they might jump again with the fourth Hokage, but that seems kind of unlikely, seeing the fact that because it's happened already in this chapter, for him to do it again seems a bit meh. Have you got anything new to show? So it'd be cool to see how they get out of it, and maybe next week we might even jump to Madara and the first Hokage next week to see what they're doing, because since Madara is so obsessed with fighting him, he has to he has to deal with the first to get out of the way, so he can actually deal with the Obito as a Jubi. So that's basically my review of the chapter. If you guys enjoyed it, remember to leave your comments below and like the video if you did. And, subscribe for more videos because we have a lot more coming. Alright guys, take care.